Hey guys, how you going? Don't mind me, I've just been, for the last few days, the reason I haven't been on is just because I've been adjusting my medication, trying to make it work better for me. Anyway, I'm back. Biden campaign balks, won't commit to drug test. Now, we've got the Biden-Trump debate coming up soon. I don't know when it is. I'm going to try and look for it. I've also going to put a video up on Rumble about Julian Assange. I have to put it up there because it has other related things, you know, WikiLeaks things, that I don't think YouTube would handle. Okay, so Biden campaign balks, won't commit to drug test. The Biden campaign officially refused to drug test Joe Biden ahead of Thursday night's highly anticipated presidential debate. And that should tell you everything right there in that one sentence. Joe Biden is currently hiding at Camp David and doing a debate prep. I'm sure he is. They've probably got lines running into him and running back out again. Who knows? President Trump and Joe Biden will face off in the first presidential debate next Thursday. The debate will be hosted by CNN in Atlanta. Is it next Thursday or this Thursday? Tomorrow, or I don't know. The microphones will be muted except when it's the candidate's turn to speak. Oh, that's not, yeah, what could possibly go wrong there? And isn't CNN doing the actual debate? Oh, God help anyone. The bar is set so low for feeble Biden that all he has to do is show up and not keel over and he'll be applauded. And the other thing is Trump could just let Biden talk the whole time and we're all going to see it. Former White House physician Dr. Ronnie Jackson demanded Joe Biden take a drug test before and after the debate. President Trump has offered to take a drug test before the debate as well. Joe Biden, however, is refusing to take a drug test because he has to be heavily medicated just to make it through the day. Okay, won't commit to a drug test before the debate. He's currently holed away at Camp David, perfecting the cocktail, said someone on Twitter. RNC Research. Boris Sanchez said, one last question, Adrienne. Former President Trump asking President Biden for a drug test going into Thursday night. What's your reaction? Adrienne said, I don't even really know what to say about that. I worked on Hillary Clinton's campaign. What's that got to do with anything? Oh, you know, she also debated him very effectively. He accused her of being on drugs. Yeah, different kind of, maybe? I don't know, maybe not. Wonder if the Drino's going. President Biden defeated Donald Trump twice in previous debates. They're delusional. Anyway, this is what he does because he doesn't have anything else to run on. He doesn't have a plan. He doesn't have a record for fighting the American people. For the American people. He doesn't know why he's running except to seek political retribution on his enemies. And so he has to resort to these types of tactics, which are, frankly, just silly. Turns off a lot of voters, especially voters who want to see their president fight for them. Boris Sanchez said, Adrian Elrod, we have to leave the conversation there. The last time Joe Biden was seen in public Thursday night, he was staggering and swaying across the tarmac in Maryland as he made his way to Marine One en route to Camp David. Okay, let's see if I can do this without volume. Hang on. Oh, yeah, because that's going to blow your ears off if I do that. Okay. Let's just watch him walk, eh? Yep. Yeah, he looks like he needs one of those little wheelie things in front of him like my mum's got, you know. One of those little, what are they called? The walker things. Yeah, walkers for adults, see? Oh, look at him. Yep. Hello, Joe. The potato in chief. And here we are. Oh, dear. Oh, my goodness. Okay. And he has 0 public events on his schedule up until Thursdays. Yep, okay. Recall that President Trump called on Biden to take a drug test ahead of a debate in 2020, and Joe Biden refused then. Joe Biden just announced he will not agree to a drug test. Gee, I wonder why. We don't have to wonder why. I think we know. Okay, we have Rep. Anna Paulina Luna lowers the boom on Merrick Garland, warns he has until Friday morning to turn over tapes or be taken into custody. Okay, she had a press conference to address the statement she made last week about Merrick Garland holding him accountable after he was found in contempt of Congress. We will hold Merrick Garland in inherent contempt of Congress. No one is above the law. Tune in, she wrote on her X account. Just now, she appeared in public to discuss the arrest of Barack Obama's failed Supreme Court Justice nominee and America's most crooked ever Attorney General. I don't know if you've seen the Sixth Circuit Court judge applicants that have been all over YouTube. But geez, honestly, no wonder you're in a mess, America. I can see it from here. Most of these people who are going for this job at the Sixth Circuit Court should not be anywhere near a judge. They shouldn't even be judges. I don't even know. Most of them don't have experience. They don't know what they're talking about. It is unbelievable. Not to mention, I'm watching here in Australia, our parliament getting questioned, and the people who are being questioned, which is mostly the party in charge right now, the Greens, the Labor, and because they all preference each other, so they're all the same, and the Teals. The ladies who are apparently in charge of all these, different committees and stuff, have no idea what they're doing. Oh, dear God, DEI in action, guys. It's DEI in action. It's got to be taken out because this is not good. Okay, America's most crooked ever Attorney General, he is apparently. We are here today because of the double standard that exists within the justice system. As you know, on February 27th, the Oversight Committee, as well as the House Judiciary, had sent a subpoena to Attorney General Garland, of which we received no response. And after referring him for criminal contempt within 48 hours or less, the Department of Justice refused to prosecute. Inherent contempt is clearly written within our Article 1 authority, and Congress does have the power to investigate all legislative powers. Investigations are part of our legislative process, and people who interfere with these processes should be held accountable. Inherent contempt was first used in 1795, and this was further upheld in the Supreme Court decision in 1927 and McGrain versus Doherty, which stated that Congress does indeed have this authority. It's important to note that when an individual is called before courts across the country, they appear. Yep, no one is above the law, remember? Why should the Attorney General, who is supposed to be head of all law enforcement authorities, be any different? Garland still has time to comply with this request. We are asking that he bring the tapes to the House and let us listen to them. But in the event that he does not, we will press forward with calling the privilege motion on inherent contempt to the floor on Friday morning. It is also important to note that if we as a Congress do not have the ability to enforce our investigative ability, that we are essentially going to be ignored and undercut, and essentially handicapped by all other branches, which would make us not a co-equal branch of government. I'd appreciate the press report on this accurately, that Congress again does have the authority to do this, that the Attorney General is not above the law, and ultimately will be pressing forward with this. This is something that again would enable the Speaker of the House to order the Sergeant of Arms to take into custody the Attorney General if he fails to comply with our request. Go, guys. Democrats will certainly cry foul when they hear Rep. Luna threaten AG Garland with inherent contempt, but one doesn't have to go back too far in history to find a time when a leading figure in the Democrat Party threatened President Trump-appointed AG Bill Barr with inherent contempt of Congress. In May of 2019, Democrat Rep and then House Judiciary Chair Jerry Nadler, threatened AG Bill Barr with inherent contempt of Congress if the DOJ didn't give his committee an unredacted version of the Mueller report. Congress's dormant inherent contempt power is rarely used in modern times. Inherent contempt was the mode employed by Congress to directly enforce contempt rulings under its own constitutional authority until criminal and civil contempt statutes were passed. And it remained in use into the 20th century. Under inherent contempt proceedings, the House or Senate has its sergeant-at-arms or deputy take a person into custody for proceedings to be held in Congress. Although these powers are not directly stated in the Constitution, the Supreme Court has ruled on multiple occasions they are implicit as an essential legislative power held by Congress. So there you go. And we have this. It needs to get out as soon as possible. New FOIA emails revealed the CIA panicking as they rushed approval of a Hunter laptop letter. New FOIA emails obtained by conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch show the CIA panicking, making sure all hands were on deck to stop the laptop from hell spreading like wildfire shortly before the 2020 election. In October of 2020, just days before the election, 51 former intelligence officials signed and published a letter that baselessly decried the contents of the laptop from hell, had all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. This was a lie. They all knew it was a lie. The fake news media ran with its story anyway. Mike Morell, former CIA acting director under Obama, immediately sent out an email making sure the infamous laptop from hell letter by the 51 spies who lied was approved. This is a rush job as it needs to get out as soon as possible, Morell wrote in an email on Monday, October 19th, 2020 at 6:36 a.m. to the CIA's Publication Classification Review Board, with a copy to Mark Polymeropoulos, a former CIA senior intelligence officer, allegedly. Judicial Watch announced today that it received 8 pages of records from the Central Intelligence Agency, showing Mike Morell, former acting CIA director under President Obama, requesting CIA permission to publish a letter by former intelligence community leaders stating that they believed the laptop emails exposing Hunter Biden's connections to Ukraine were Russian disinformation. Morell requested for a pre-publication review was approved in just 6 hours by the CIA. Okay, it needs to get out as soon as possible. We just read that. This was 5 days after the New York Post published an article on the Hunter Biden emails, 3 days before Donald-Joe debate, and 15 days before the presidential election. The public statement on the Hunter's emails is included in the records, and it states in part, we want to emphasise that we do not know if the emails provided to the New York Post by President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, are genuine or not, and that we do not have evidence of Russian involvement, just that our experience makes us deeply suspicious that the Russian government played a significant role in this case. Who are the conspiracy theorists? At 8:01 a.m, same day, an unnamed CIA official sent Morell's request to an official whose name is also redacted. Below is a high-profile, high-alert action item for 19th of October. Mr. Morell has advised this article was co-authored with former DO officer Mark Polymeropoulos, and that many former senior working level officials from across the IC will sign and be made public. That was the 51 people saying that it was Russian disinformation. At 11:44 a.m, 5 hours and 8 minutes after Morell sent his request, a person whose name is redacted sends an email stating, "You may notify former DCIA, Deputy Director of the CIA, Morell." At 12:44 p.m, an official whose name is redacted emails Morell, "Dear Michael, the Pre-Publication Classification Review Board completed its review of your article, titled Public Statement on the Hunter Biden Emails. The board determined that it contains no classified information and can be published. Agency approval for publication of this material does not represent agency endorsement or verification of this work. If you add new material, please resubmit before sharing, highlighting the new language to expedite our review. The PCRB appreciates your cooperation with publication review. You may reach out to us via redacted with questions or concerns. Kind regards, PCRB staff." These documents are astounding. That the CIA would turn around a campaign document like this for Joe Biden's team in 6 hours is insane news. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton said this seems to be a demonstrable campaign interference by the CIA, and that should be alarming to all Americans. Allegedly, apparently. Okay, YouTube. A pregnant woman who accused 3 cops of sexually assaulting her may be being killed despite her death initially being ruled a suicide. Why does that not surprise me? A pregnant Massachusetts woman who previously accused 3 Staunton police officers of sexually abusing her when she was just 13, may have been killed despite... Well, I feel like I've heard this before. Despite her death as being ruled as a suicide. Sandra Birchmore's death was officially ruled a suicide by Massachusetts State Medical Examiner after Birchmore's body was found hanging in her apartment. Now, pathologist alleged by Birchmore's family has refuted the State Medical Examiner's report. Former New York City Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Michael Baden in his investigation into Birchmore's death, concluded she did not die of hanging by herself, by her own means. The cause of Miss Birchmore's death is strangulation, and the manner is homicide. They've had a lot of that go on, where they've people look like they've been hung, but when the medical examiner actually examines them, it's strangulation, because hanging gives a different bruising, different damage. Let me put it that way. Police Chief Donna McNamara said, "While I'm not a trained medical examiner and I'm not qualified to draw any direct conclusions, the findings certainly warrant further investigation at the highest level." Ooh, okay. A pregnant Massachusetts woman, this is per the New York Post, who accused the 3 cops of grooming and abusing her as a teenager, did not commit, herself. Didn't Jeffrey Epstein herself, and may have been killed, a high-profile pathologist hired by her family has claimed. It was ruled as she took herself out, but because she was found hanging in a Canton apartment, the medical examiners and investigators had said at the time the woman's autopsy, which also determined she was 3 months pregnant, had shown no evidence of foul play. But former New York City Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Michael Baden, who was hired by her family amid an ongoing civil legal battle against the 3 cops, has since rejected those findings, the Boston Globe reported. "I must disagree," Baden wrote in a June 18th letter to a lawyer for Birchmore's estate. She did not die that way. The cause of her death is strangulation, and the manner of death is homicide. CBS reported in 2022 an internal investigation by the Staunton Police Department discovered 3 of its officers abused this young girl. The police department has since dismissed the 3 officers. I have heard of this. I think some true crime people have done stories on this one. Okay, so that's coming back out, and that does not surprise me, who the people are. Okay, and so if you go and look, please, at Rumble, you will find a video about Assange over there with a lot more information, a lot of information. Anyway, and I will be back live as soon as possible. Until then, I'll be doing videos, guys, but I'm back, okay? Have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.